So if you guys are ready to start, I'll start taking us through the content.
Did you stop the recording?
I did
Right.
stop the recording in Zoom, but I've actually got a recording happening in another program. Yeah.
Okay. That's all right.
Um, so this is the second time I've taken this course, and I've also sat this course. Um, this one is probably one of the longest in terms of content. So given that it's quite long on content, I will go through it quite quickly. But if you ever want me to slow down or go back over something, then just let me know and I'll slow it down and revisit that topic in a bit more detail. And then what I think we'll do is I'll pass the hosting rights over to Neil, and at the very end we'll go through the course, go through the exam together. So what we'll try and do is we'll try and get it done in an hour. Last time it took 2 hours, so that's a pretty bold goal, but we'll see how we go.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yep.
Right. And there could be sections that are just so self-explanatory and would be pointless reading out to you guys, which I'll skip over. So that could almost be true for the first part, which is interior finishes. So interior finishes are used to improve the appearance of the house, but they have other important functions. For example, curtains and blinds not only give a finished appearance, but they also control light. Right, so we've got a diagram here. I know that this is Scotia. Neil, you'll know what that is there?
Architrave, was it?
Perfect. Yep. These are panels. Ron, how about this on the far right?
Looks like banister to me.
Yep, balustrade banister. And a post here.
Newell. Yeah, that's right. Newell. The other one's Dado, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep. Dado. Perfect. Right, wallpaper. And then we've got the skylight up the top, and then the square stop over here. We've got jib, which I can't get my hands on any of it, so my project's on hold for a month. That is a sore topic, which we'll move on from.
I thought they'd solved that. It's all flowing in down here at the moment.
Not in Hawke's Bay, unfortunately. Yeah, it's put a stop to everything for me. Blinds, skirting, and floor covering. Timber strip, beauty. Yeah. Right, another one of these. Who would like to have a go?
Neil.
Yeah. Ceiling, top one.
Yep, perfect. Scotia again. Yep.
Yeah.
And this over here.
Architrave or window frame. Yeah. Skirting.
Perfect. Right, in this part of the content, it just goes through the types of flooring. I generally find that when our clients or investors renovate a rental property, they're usually aiming for vinyl and carpet because it's nice and cheap and reasonably durable, especially if it's solution dyed carpet. Nylon, sorry. Slate, I don't see a lot of that, and tiles. And we have a little quiz here, and it's saying select 3 answers from the list that describe the type of interior finishes shown. Ron, would you like to have a go at this? I'll go back up to the photo though.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a painted dado rail.
Sweet. I'll reveal some more answers down here for you.
Can't see the picture.
Yep, sorry.
Yeah, I need a longer screen.
It's not square stopped.
No, it's not tiled, so we could go stained. No,
Painted timber approach.
Painted timber paneling and painted carved Scotia.
Yeah, it's the Scotia at the top.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there is.
Sweet. Well done. Now another photo. So Neil, I'll pass over to you. 3 answers that describe that photo there. I'll just come down from the photo so you can see the answers.
Yeah, definitely painted door frames. Can I have a look again?
Of course.
Yeah, square stopped. Is that? Did I see that somewhere? Yeah, Nova Scotia square stopped. Yeah, the second one down.
Oh, thank you. Yep.
Then plastered wall, painted walls.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well done. Exterior features. Exterior features ensure that a house remains weathertight and structurally sound. Same scenario again. I'll give this one a crack on our behalf. Downpipe, gutters, I think they say this is roofing.
Really?
Oh, eaves,
So,
post or veranda or covered porch. This could be roofing here. Yep.
yeah, there'll be a fascia, wouldn't
Eaves again. Yeah.
it?
Yeah, you don't know whether it's gutter or fascia or
Yeah.
eave or
What
it's
what it's pointing to.
Yeah.
I think this is something Ron mentioned earlier. Hip roof, was it? Did you mention that earlier? Oh no, you mentioned a
No.
gable roof. Sorry,
Yeah, sort of-
fascia, I think. But
which
yeah.
is on the left, and mono pitch roof.
Yeah, tell me about that. Oh, it's a nightmare in Waikato.
Just some real life examples here of each of the types of roofs above. This is the next stuff we go through. I definitely remember being part of the exam, having to match certain pictures of houses to certain eras. So in the 1890s to the 1960s is covered off below. So pre-1890, cottages, aka workers' cottages. A number still exist in the city areas, but some have been demolished and some have been enhanced through renovations. They're quite simple and small. Typically have a central front door facing the street. This reminds me of Arrowtown,
Yeah, the
Ron-
railway look like railway cottages, don't they?
which you have ties to. Beautiful in autumn. Later cottages often had rolled edge verandas with bull-nosed or bell-cast roofs at the front, and a lot of fretwork, which is quite beautiful. In the original state, cottages were very small homes, very small floor print. Existing cottages have been added to extra living and enhanced bathroom areas. The picture below is known as a square front villa. Sweet. 1860 to 1910, Victorian villas. Before 1890, the small villa was effectively just a larger version of a cottage. 4 bedrooms usually. Larger villas emerged after 1890 with more generous scale and higher quality, occasionally 2 or 3 stories. And it was common for these grander villas to have barge walls with highly decorative carving and a tall finial. How's the speed, guys? Is it all right?
Yeah, it's good.
Thank you. The interiors of villas were characterised by a central hall that ran from the front to the back of the house. I know that too well because I grew up in a villa with an archway halfway down the hall. Also had that. Villas are easily recognisable by their high roof studs, 3 to 3.5 metres, and double hung sash windows. And of course, many of these villas have been renovated, often keeping with the period, with modern luxuries added to the basic floor plan. This villa illustrated is an example of a single bay Victorian villa, and funnily enough, it's quite a popular photo because we've got it on that there. Same house, same photo. Must be quite a popular stock image. 1905 to 1920, we saw the Edwardian and transitional villas, also known as the double bay, tended to be a more elegant design and complex layout. Noticeable differences were in the style of the exterior decoration. For example, the use of turned timber for posts and brackets. Pressed metal panels were sometimes used for the exterior and were often a feature of the interior ceilings and walls. Double hung windows, glass fan lights, and they were often coloured or lead light.
How do you get on with the health and homes regulations with one of those?
Yeah. They still have to comply, they're not exempt. Yeah. They have to receive all the insulation and everything like that. Towards the end of this period, villas began to take on more of a bungalow characteristic. At the roof's edge, rafters became exposed. The pitch of the roof also fell, and the veranda was incorporated within the main roof. Shingles began to appear on gable ends, and inside room heights were reduced. The Californian bungalow emerged from 1910 to 1940. It became the most popular housing style in New Zealand. Unlike villas, bungalows were oriented towards the sun and had a more user-friendly floor plan. Entrance was at the side of the building and a hall running from the entrance into several of the rooms. The rest of the house was accessed from these rooms. Lower ceilings as well. The main rooms and corners of the house often had feature windows like curved bow windows, we'll see one of those soon, and box windows that each had an individual roof. Yeah, and you often saw some beautiful timber inside them.
We got a lot of matai flooring. It's just,
isn't that the strongest timber out there, matai?
I don't know. It's really commonly used in old flooring.
Yeah, beautiful.
Well, I don't know at North Island, but down here it was then.
Yeah, another common characteristic of the California bungalow was instead of a veranda, they had a porch area, the front of the entrance door. Wide external space with its own gable roof and large posts or columns. That is the Californian bungalow. Over a similar time period, 1910 to 1935 though, there was the English cottage style, built from similar materials to the bungalows, similar layout. And they had large porches. Two-storied with small window panes and archways, symmetrical roof, steep pitch, just like the photo below, which will come through shortly. Stairs were a prominent feature and were lit by windows with leaded glass. In some houses, English cottage style houses had a small porch that could be used for sleeping purposes. Right, and there goes a quintessential one right there. Then we had the Art Deco phase, 20s to the 40s. Came around after World War One. You'd often find they had a flat roof. Some houses had parapets at the front, giving the appearance of a flat roof, and a very low pitched roof that sloped gently down towards the back of the house. Stucco walls, textured, and there goes an example of a beautiful, actually, Art Deco property. I wonder if that's in New Zealand. Does anyone know the Webster?
Oops, I don't know. It looks like it belongs in Napier, doesn't it?
Yeah, I certainly get my dose of Art Deco by living in the Hawke's Bay.
Yeah.
Spanish mission style, similar period, 1920 to 1940. There goes an example of one. Similar to Art Deco in terms of layout and form, and the use of stucco walls on a timber frame. They were influenced by Spanish style parapet walls, and with a row of half-round earthenware tiles at the top. Not sure what earthenware materials are.
That's probably clay tiles. Right from the dirt.
Walls were heavily textured, while the windows were small.
looking through these, like, it reminds me of all sorts of nightmares I've had in the past. I had one with clay tiles in Rickerton, and what happened is these helpful people were knocking over chimneys, but it was an old state house and had reinforced chimney, and they did more damage to the earthenware tiles, and they didn't actually manage to knock the chimney over, as no matter how hard the fire brigade tried. It cost me a fortune. So when I went in there, there was a student sleeping in the lounge, this girl on a double bed, and the whole ceiling was bowed full of water, ready to collapse.
Oh no. One job, eh?
Hey?
They had one job.
Yeah, she's very lucky it didn't come down.
Railway and state homes. There's a photo of them here. Pretty basic. There was a limited number of floor plans, very simple, primitive exteriors, and they were built for the NZ Railways employees on a budget. Despite the lack of creativity, they were well built. There's usually no timber panelling used in these houses. Floors tended to be removed, tongue and groove, and because of the good construction techniques, they've been really durable homes, and they're still around, and a lot of them have been renovated into modern homes. 1914 to 1960, post-war homes built after World War II. Many of them were designed in an L shape. Bedrooms featured in the longer wings and the living areas in the shorter wing. They was designed to let the winter sun in and to keep that scorching summer sun out. 1960s, generally characterised by garages connected to houses. The sausage block homes were economical and modern for the time, with one long, low, large construction under a single roof. A variation was the banana or boomerang shaped home. Split levels and A-frame style homes became popular. Sliding doors, ranch sliders I presume, were introduced. Here goes an example there. 1970s, suburbs were rapidly developing. Properties were built under standardised plans. What we saw was open plan living areas and internal access garages, which could accommodate 2 cars rather than one. Concrete floor slabs were prevalent as well. Spec homes were sold on the open market. These homes were often used low-cost materials and a standard floor plan, which was rectangular or L-shaped. Many houses built this way were not well suited to the site and were situated poorly, so they did not accommodate factors such as sun and the wind. Common building materials, timber cladding, metal roofs, and alley joinery. Example there. 80s. Building companies started to provide a one-stop shop, so that homes from set floor plans could be produced economically and at scale. Just like earlier houses, these houses lacked wall and floor insulation, although some had a low level of roof insulation. More choices when it came to exterior cladding. Now we hit the danger zone. 1994 to 2004. Mediterranean style of home became very popular. Have either of you guys owned one of these?
Never.
Have not?
Never would.
Good for you. Neither have I. Only with their value in the land, really. The New Zealand Mediterranean style is effectively a combination of French, Italian and Spanish. Typically 2 stories at least, large foyers, high ceilings. Complex or flat roof design. Difficult to manage if you've got them on your books. Prominent balconies, plastered exterior, recessed windows, internal decks, problem after problem after problem, enclosed or concealed gutters. Oh dear, no eaves. What were we thinking? Typically this style was used in monolithic cladding systems such as fibre cement. The system used exterior paint as the main defence against water penetration, not ideal for our climate or weather systems in New Zealand, which is just becoming more and more erratic.
You would have inspected a lot of these, Neil.
Insulation was built in as the building code now at this point in time required it, and there goes an example of this style of home. Yeah, 2000s. After Y2K. Architecturally designed homes are common. Due to the higher cost, the majority of Kiwi homes still tend to be designed and built by building companies. Cookie cutter approach. Current building styles commonly use weatherboard or brick cladding, or a combination of both. And we saw Reeves come in, which is good, and sectional garage doors. Style of home shown below has a pitched roof, metal tile roof, and eaves. We're almost at present day, I think, with this slide. Obviously, with our population booming and things like that, we've now got things like the unitary plan and intensification across the country or in the main centres. So terrace townhouses and apartments have become a lot more prevalent. Certainly in Auckland, when I drive in from the airport, it's just house after house being demolished and terraced homes going in, which is what we need.
Christchurch is happening now too.
And Christchurch, yep.
Same thing.
I don't need to explain what apartments are. They do usually have a flat roof, compact lifts, balconies, and minimal outdoor space. Sometimes have communal areas, like I've got an apartment and they've got a tennis court there, a golf driving nets, spa, gym, all those sorts of facilities, so it's quite groovy. And you pay for it through your body corporate fees, of course. Housing.
Told me a story about apartments in America, because they started using apartments way before us. And what happens is typically they're quite sought after, the top floor, and then if they're not maintained, the lift stops working, and they turn into a slum, and then the top floor becomes the cheapest because you get to cart all your stuff up.
It's like a reverse pricing model.
It is. It flips over when the building deteriorates and they can't afford to fix the lift.
Yeah, imagine climbing 11 stories to get to your place. Your quads would be huge. Right. So we're going to play that game again. I'll get Ron. Would you like to take the first three up the top where my mouse is sort of circling?
Oh yeah, that's Bargeboard.
Nice one.
It's a carved gable end, I think. Sort of.
I think
the gable's actually in behind it, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it might be the fretwork. Yeah, and this is the
finial.
Nice one. Yep. Neil, would you like to have a go at these two?
Yeah. Double sliding casement sashes.
Yeah, hard to say which one because they're both sort of. Bay window.
Window. I was going to say it could be a sash window.
And this will be the sash one, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say veranda post or fretwork again.
Yep.
And bullnose veranda. Yep. What's this? Post. Yep. So California bungalow features. I'll just rip through this one. Casement window and bow windows. LED light windows. Casement windows. Bow windows. Timber shingles. And your veranda here. What one didn't I do? Oh, this. Covered. Roof over bow window.
And individual roof, yeah.
Where does that property look like it's in? It looks like it's Wellington to me. Art
Yeah,
Deco.
there's a good chance it's Wellington.
Art Deco. These icons are misplaced or the wrong way around. So this should be parapet, but it's not. This should be the stucco plaster, and these are the painted plaster features. Yeah, Just thought I'd take that one for the team because it was wrong. State House features. Ron, do you want to have a go on the roof there?
I wouldn't call it, or I mean, it's obviously hey?
Hip, I think.
We call them clay tiles. Are they clay tiles? I don't know, they look like concrete tiles. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
They, yeah. I
oh,
mean,
hip roof. Oh, okay,
yeah,
sorry, getting too into it.
hard to
Yeah.
know, isn't it, what they're looking for?
Yeah.
This is probably talking about the type of window.
Don't know what
Timber
window?
joinery windows. This is weatherboards, or the cladding sometimes was plaster. Yep, corner windows. And this one here is
We call them French doors.
yeah,
French windows. Oh, they're actually windows. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
they go down to halfway.
Select 4 answers from the list that describes typical features of the housing style represented in the photo. Call out the answers if you like.
A steep pitched roof.
Yeah.
More window panes.
Yes. We've got 2 to go out of the rest. Tall chimney, we'll lock that one in.
1.5 story.
Maybe a monolithic cladding. No, well, it's a toss up.
Yeah. I'm going to go with 1.5 or 2 storied, but could be wrong.
Because that was English.
Oh, we got there.
Good on you.
This
Below.
5 answers from this relating back to that picture there.
First porch in front of the entrance.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not a bull-nosed veranda.
No, they're not bull nose.
We've got casement windows.
Yeah.
LED light.
Quite hard to tell from that picture.
It usually is.
And sorry to move all over the place. Veranda under the main roof line.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's 5, wasn't it?
Oh, was it 5? Oh, you were right. Sorry.
Yeah, the box window, isn't it? With individual roof.
Yeah. Box window with individual roof.
Yeah.
Well done. Apartments. Just because this is so elementary, I'll just do this for us, eh?
Mm-hmm.
No point us dwelling on that one. 5 regarding this sort of Art Deco place. Parapet. I'm going to lock that in.
Yeah.
I'm going to lock that in.
Yeah.
And I'm going to lock that in. Oh, but it's that as well.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Sorry, 5. So we've got 1 too many.
No, that's enough. It's exactly right.
No, I've got 6. Oh no, you're right. Sorry, 5. Thought we would oversubscribe there. Split level house. This is a very basic part of the exercise. We've got your garage on the ground floor. You've got your bedrooms up there on the 3rd level, and you've usually got your entrance and your living on your 2nd level. Won't spend long on that, gentlemen. Concrete slab foundations have often been used for garages attached to the main dwelling and for the lower levels of the split level houses. Higher levels of these houses are typically built with suspended floors. Minimum floor level requirements for building work in houses and other habitable buildings are set by the Building Act 04 under the Building Code. Purpose of these minimum requirements is to make sure that there is acceptable drainage and subfloor ventilation, which helps prevent moisture damage. In some areas that are classified as being high risk or hazard zones, the required minimum floor levels are established for all buildings by the Building Consent Authority, such as the local council, and detailed in the district plan. These requirements will be more detailed than those set out in the building code. CCC or minimum floor level certificate will need to confirm that buildings meet any requirements. onto framing, foundations and flooring. Exploded view of a house. This is a little bit interactive, so if you'd like to call out any of the answers, that would be great. Otherwise I'll start doing it. We've got the framing or the trusses, timber roof framing. Oh, insulation, sorry. This one here might be that answer that I just called out, roof framing.
Yeah.
Hard to know sometimes. This will be like corrugated iron, exterior roof cladding that was.
That might be the building paper, is it? Or the roof?
Roof. Okay.
The hatched one will be the building.
This one here will be joists, I would have thought. Oh. Foundations.
Generic.
Yeah. Interior walls, internal walls. Yep.
Framing.
Yep.
Cladding.
Nice one.
Windows.
Double. This I know. This is joinery, like double glazing and things. Window. Yeah. Right, we're talking about foundations. Foundations provide a way for buildings to withstand the loads that are placed upon them by transferring those loads to the ground. They distribute the load evenly over a large area, also prevent the structure from moving and create greater structural stability. There's upward and downward pressure when it comes to vertical loads. The ground resists the downward load beneath the building. The degree of resistance depends on the type of ground and its bearing capacity. Upward load, also known as suction, is resisted by the weight of the foundations and the building itself. The common foundations are on the screen at the moment: concrete slab and timber frame pile foundations. Concrete slabs are a great candidate for sites that are flat or fairly flat. Concrete slab floors have traditionally offered a cost-effective, robust solution that is resistant to fire, draft and vermin. They came along in the late 1970s. Yeah, concrete slab floors combine the floor and the foundation that provide a flat, level surface for building wall frames, like in the picture below. Again, it gets a little bit interactive here. Would anyone like to call out what my mouse is hovering on at the moment?
I'd call that a dross back.
Yeah, reinforcement.
Oh, they must be putting a wall on there.
This is just the concrete slab, I presume. Yep. Perimeter foundation.
Yeah.
Perimeter foundation walls and
That's right, garage slab.
base.
Oh, they haven't put the slab on it.
Other foundation types that are probably less common are on the screen at the moment. I won't read each one of those out.
There's a lot of floating foundations here, concrete.
Oh yeah.
Down up to the earthquake, most of them are.
Yeah.
We've got a table here of the advantages of each. So concrete slab, we know it's cheap and it's basic, simple. It also provides works well on level sites in a warmer climate. They also provide a sort of a you'd probably know more about this, Neil, but in terms of insulation, provides like an R value of around 1.3 or something like that.
Yep.
Concrete slab. I see that when we do our healthy homes reports, it sort of just drags through a notional R value for a concrete slab.
Yeah, I did one the other day, and the house had 50 mils of polystyrene underneath the slab.
Yeah.
And so when I did the calculations, it came out at 1.79.
Oh, I would have thought that would have been higher.
No, because it was only 50 mils.
Oh.
And really, the MB say that you go thicker, it doesn't do any more. Because the ground has an ambient temperature anyway, so it's worth doing, but it's not worth going overboard.
And what the minimum R value for insulation, I think, is about 1.3. Is that right, from memory?
Wall insulation?
No, when it comes to underfloor insulation for healthy homes, it's around 1.3, I think.
Yeah.
Pile foundations. It's great for the plumbers because it's easy access. Pole foundations, cheap and fast to build, predominantly seen on steep slopes. More advantages of, the disadvantages now. With concrete base, obviously there's no floor, there's no space for ducting, sewer and plumbing, etc. Dampness can be a problem with the pile foundations. And with pile foundations, it is important to ensure effective insulation, ventilation and waterproofing. There is little protection in the case of a storm. The last one was pole foundations, and the disadvantages are not suitable if the ground has boulders or obstacles, or if there are any issues with stability of the ground. Common problems when concrete has been used for foundation and basement walls. Cracks in the walls, and these cracks can be caused by poorly laid slab, tree roots, corroded reinforcing steel, undermined walls, subsidence, and crack control joists that have not been incorporated. Chipping and dusting, like cracking, this may include a slab that has been poorly laid, seeing water or water stains, mouldy, damp or rotten floor coverings and sleep outs or conversions. I've had that, where there's been no membrane used. Invites the rising damp in. Cracks greater than 1 mil may indicate significant structural problems. Pile foundations, common problems: rotted timber piles, undermined piles, borer damage, bouncing floorboards, missing damp-proof course, aka tar paper, insufficient ventilation of the subfloor, lack of lateral support bracing for piles. Common problems with pole foundations: vibrating in the wind, deterioration in the timber, crack in pole foundation support, split in support of underfloor structure. Framing, timber framed, it's most common in New Zealand homes. Easy to use, maintain, and a high level of safety in the event of earthquakes. Better sustainability and lower impact on the environment than other materials. Steel frame buildings, I heard, are quite good for people with asthma and allergies and things like that. It's competitively priced, stays straight, no tendency to twist, warp or shrink over time, and does not absorb moisture or rot, although it can corrode. Excellent fire resistance, makes sense if built correctly. It's generally safe in the event of earthquake.
We actually looked at that, remember, years ago when they put it in, and it's actually it's a fire risk because timber breaks down slowly at a predictable rate, whereas metal becomes molten, and so it's very dangerous for firemen. It'll just collapse once it gets to a certain temperature, and you don't know when that is.
Right. It'll just happen instantly in a moment rather than a gradual thing.
It comes down, whereas the other ones just slowly char away, and so it's more predictable.
Yep, no warning with the steel stuff. Didn't know that. Thanks. This photo was taken during a visit to a property being renovated prior to sale. Select 6 answers from the list that describe the features of this type of steel framing. To me, it looks like steel. So we won't take the very first cab off the rank, which is timber framing, but we will lock in 6 more of the rest of them. So feel free to call them out.
Yes.
Or to stop me if I select something that's wrong.
Steel framing, yes.
So we need 2 more, I think. Not that one.
No.
That one there.
Yeah, could be.
Coated to limit corrosion. Or I would say nails.
Galvanised. It could be the bottom one.
We'll try that. Oh, our unbeaten streak continues, gentlemen. Flooring, most common floor construction methods in New Zealand: concrete floor slabs placed directly on the ground, timber framing with sheet flooring or timber strip flooring laid over top. When finishing directly, concrete floors are polished and sealed. Solid timber floors are sanded, then coated with polyurethane. Timber strip flooring, tongue and groove. We all know about that. Sheet flooring, particle board or plywood. And I think it talks about the concerns about that type of flooring.
The amount of those I've had to take out of laundries.
Yeah, yep. Turns to wheat bix when water hits it, and there's no going back. Concrete floor slab placed directly on the ground. Once the concrete has been placed, it needs to cure, dry out. It can be changed further to achieve the desired appearance, such as staining, dyeing or polishing, and applying decorative coatings. My father's just built a place over in Akaroa and he's got polished concrete throughout. It just looks awesome. To achieve a polished appearance,
Put those pipes in it to warm it up so you can actually walk on it in winter.
Yeah.
You know, put like what do you call it? Those like air conditioning but for water. So they heat it.
Heat pump.
Yeah, heat pump driven water, and they put the pipes through it as they pour it, and then they polish it, and that way it stays at a reasonable temperature. Otherwise, it gets too cold here in Christchurch.
Yeah, in the winter. To get this appearance, ground down using a commercial grinder. Take the top layer off to reveal the aggregate. The finish required may have the individual aggregate pieces showing when ground down, or the surface may be smooth and stone free. Can also be coloured, and then a sealer coat goes on. There go on the screen are the typical coatings for concrete floors. I won't go into those. The advantages of flooring types. Concrete slab is durable. The advantage of a timber strip is also durable, warm to touch, so we don't have that problem that we were just talking about. Disadvantages of the concrete slab: can crack in freezing conditions. You don't have a lot of choice when it comes to colour, and like Ron said, it's cold when you get up in the middle of the night and run over to the fridge in your bare feet. Easily damaged through moisture and spills and scratches. Sensitive to water, unfortunately, and requires maintenance throughout. We just got our new timber floor delivered to our garage, and they've included all the equipment that we're to maintain it with, and all the potions and everything. Timber subfloors are common foundation systems found in houses built before the 80s. Treated timber is used for timber foundations today. Timber piles have a concrete footing. I think we see diagrams of that shortly. Timber subfloors are better suited to houses that need easy access to plumbing, sewage and ducting. So we're going to get to some diagrams shortly, so I won't spend too much time on this. We all know what bearers are. We know what joists are. Subfloor bracing laterally supports the foundations to resist loads from earthquakes and winds. Righto, so here's the diagram that I was referring to. Righto, so these concrete blocks are the perimeter. These up here are the joists. This is the foundation or the footing. Bearer, is it? Timber pile.
Bearers. That goes across the top of it.
Yeah, sorry. This, I remember, that's a little trick. This is the bearer, and this is the waterproof part. Yeah, damp proof course. Perfect. So defects in building structure and their indicators. Lifting or bubbling of flooring. So these are the sorts of things you look out for on a routine inspection. Stains on timber floors or carpet. Swelling of fiberboard. Springy timber flooring. Other borer damage, rot, mould, fungi, cracked concrete flooring. There goes some pictures of the things that we just described. Wall claddings. I'll just see how we... Yeah, I might... Right. While older homes are traditionally timber, brick or concrete, more modern homes are finished with a wider variety. So bricks, double brick, that's when there's 2 layers of bricks.
Dunedin's got a lot of those.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Brick walling and columns. This is where the sole construction is of bricks, many layers thick. It's common in older commercial buildings and was especially common in wool stores and 3 to 5 story buildings in Wanganui and Dunedin. Yep, Dunedin.
That's right.
Hometown. Limitation brick and stone cladding. Available since 1980, usually a symmetrical pattern. The cladding is nailed into place. Often used to cover existing cladding and may hang out over the foundations. Solid timber weatherboard, self-explanatory, I think, gentlemen. Linear weatherboard cladding. Bevel-backed weatherboards, trim, accessories, and a rain barrier system. That looks like could be stone fields or something like that, but I don't think it is. Hardy plank cladding became popular in the 80s. Fibre cement, absorbent material it is, so this cladding must be painted so that it is weather-tight, durable, and not porous. There you go.
Asbestos in it?
It can do, I think, yeah.
1980.
Oh, yeah, yep. There goes a diagram, bevel-back weatherboard. Profiled metal, we all know about that. Colour steel and the likes. Weatherside, popular between 75 and 85, was made from tempered hardwood. Wood fibres that have been glued together but looks like a fibre cement weatherboard called HardiePlank. There are a lot of failings with this. Problems happen when moisture caused the glue in the weatherside to fail, perhaps due to unmaintained paint or cracking. It resulted in the timber fibres becoming wet, swelling, delaminating and turning to mush. And there was no way you could fix that, you'd only have to replace it. You'd have to replace it. Consequently, it was removed from the market. The difference between the two, Weatherside is slightly thicker than HardiePlank. The joiners were metal, not plastic, and were wider than the ones used on HardiePlank. Sweet. I'll keep moving on. Monolithic cladding, that's the bad stuff. You gentlemen will know what that is. Surface cracking of monolithic cladding may occur as a result of water entry or ground movement, and it has they have a stigma around them for obvious reasons. Problems, monolithic cladding once again, prone to heating and cooling, which causes expansions. Asbestos, that's the word you mentioned before, Ron, the dirty word. Yeah, quite common before 2000. You guys will know this doesn't cause a problem when it's undisturbed, but if it becomes airborne and things, those fibres can be inhaled. And I think under a microscope, they're shaped like the fibres are sort of shaped like a hook, so they actually go into your lungs and get stuck there. That's one of the big problems with asbestos. Weatherboards, brick, plywood sheet. More here, PVC weatherboards, cellulose, fibre cement. Okay, another interactive thing here. Photo was taken during an inspection of a property. Choose 3 answers from the list that describe the typical features of this type of oopsie daisy wall cladding shown?
Okay.
Top one?
Yeah.
Not the second one?
No.
Not the third one?
No.
Not that one, but painted surface and painted horizontal features, and of course that's a
Art Deco.
yes, Art Deco. Mediterranean, the sort of Spanish one. Right, select 3 from the list that describes the typical features of the type of wall cladding shown here. Right, just call them out if you like, gentlemen.
Monolithic cladding.
Nice one. There'll be one more.
Textured acrylic cement based plaster.
Perfect. Once again, name the 3 features. I'll hit that. The metal, it's 3 features, isn't it? Yeah. Stained finish, would it be?
Yeah, it was yours stone anyway.
And
Timber weatherboard.
timber weatherboard, was it?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Parts of a roof. Okay. Yeah, sing out if you've got anything. Downpipe or downspout, gutter.
Fascia board.
Fascia, yep. Or yeah, Eve, unfortunately. Valley.
Valley. Yeah.
Ridge.
Or roof.
Roof cap.
Yeah, that's right. Maple ends. And
Fascia
back.
again. Rakeage.
Package.
Gable.
Gable, yeah.
Flashing.
Yeah.
What about this one?
It's the same ridge capping, isn't it?
Perfect.
Roof.
Did we select this one? That there is
Blue.
a
Roof
vent.
vents.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was everything, folks. Yeah, I think so.
The gutter.
Yeah,
What do you call it? Downpipe.
yeah. They called it a downspout. Horses for courses. Asphalt shingles. They're low maintenance, corrosion resistant. Long run steel roofing is a type of metal roofing which has a corrugated style to it. It's called long run because it's installed in massive single pieces. Here is a picture of a profiled metal roof cladding. Here is an example of concrete or clay tile roof cladding, resistant to rust and corrosion, even when it's placed by the beach. Oh yeah, that's what my neighbour's got. Synthetic rubber. Don't they use a hot blowtorch to get
Yep.
that down? Yeah.
It lasts 20 years, that, and it does literally 20 years because it leaks after that.
Oh.
At least.
Avoid.
I know.
Metal,
Pay for it a couple of times.
metal tile roof cladding. I had a house next to the Dunedin Otago golf course in Dunedin. It was my first house, and it had a clay tile roof. And the golfers used to slice their golf ball, and they would hit the roof and break the tiles. And we would only realise when it was raining, and you'd be having your dinner in the lounge, and then it would start sort of coming down on you. So they replaced it with the metal tile roof, believe it or not. And then it would resist the golf.
Balmacune, is it?
Yeah, on the.
Yeah, I live pretty close to there too, a long time ago.
I was on Chapman Street, so it was on the 3rd hole across the road, Ron, where they had 4 of the holes.
Oh yeah, I know. I think I know where you are.
What street were you in?
God, I have to remember back. I can't remember the name of it. It's, you know, the valley that drops down.
Yep.
It's at the top of that.
Oh, okay.
On the far side.
Fond memories. Other types of roofing are listed on the screen now. Building structures that are prone to leaks. We've kind of touched on this loosely. Anyway, the Spanish or Mediterranean style buildings, due to their design and the materials that they used. Sorry. Rooftops, flat roofs, and narrow or non-existent eaves. Eaves, of course, provide weather protection by deflecting water away from the building.
You know that these things, what happened is they went bad in Auckland. They're working their way down the country. So Invercargill's not so bad, and it's all to do with the temperature because you don't get the moisture when it's colder. You need moisture for it. So what happens is Christchurch is really bad now, but the insurance claims are heading south basically.
Yeah. More characteristics of the exterior design. Buildings with internal guttering systems. If internal guttering systems become blocked or damaged, they can release water into the cavity of the building instead of moving it to the stormwater. Unsatisfactory flashings. Cladding that continues below ground level. Exterior cracks and lack of cavity system. Indicators of a leaky roof. Loose nails, rust, build-up of moss or mould in the water channels. Insulation. This here we don't need to play, that's just a video by Tenancy Services. By law, all homes in New Zealand must be thermally insulated. A lot of homes that were built prior to that regulation coming into force don't have insulation. And there's an example of some ceiling insulation, polyester. Yeah,
you get on with those Lockwood homes for the walls. They're pretty well insulated with the wood, aren't they?
Yes, yep. I've got one of those Lockwood homes. And
do they have an R rating?
Well, when it comes to doing the insulation statement, they've got what's called a skillen roof. So they're just exempt because they've got a skillen roof and there's no access, you know.
Ah, okay.
So whether it actually has insulation or not, it's unknown for me anyway.
They were generally thought, when people built them, I remember, they were generally thought to be warmer.
Yeah, but it's definitely timber is better than steel, but it's still not a good insulation. Doesn't have good insulation value. New Lockwoods actually have been built in to their each plank a layer of insulation within it.
Wow.
Yeah, I know that.
No, neither did I.
Not the old ones, but the new ones do.
Whenever my wife walks into the Lockwood home, she always says this reminds me of walking into a ski cabin because, as you know, it's just timber throughout.
They all stained them, and then what happens is after about 3 or 4 years, they go bright orange because it's stained.
Insulation forms of insulation. It can be found under the floor, in the wall, or in the ceiling. We all know what an R value is. It's a measure of its thermal resistance. The higher the R value, the more insulation qualities you have. Occasionally, insulation needs repair or replacement because it can settle over time. You don't want it to get damp or wet or anything like that either. Does that talk about foil there?
No, it doesn't.
No. There's loans out there for insulation. Installation, I've found that those over the time have come right back. They're not as available as they once were.
Yeah, I used to use them a lot, and used to put heat pumps in for loan, from the council and stuff like that. And then the next round came and had to redo them anyway because the R value increased.
Yeah,
so.
I know that a lot of councils provide like a loan, and you pay it back through your rates. Yeah, I think we're doing that.
Yeah, it was an interest-free through your rates, so you pay back. But the problem is, you put a heat pump in, they only let you put the minimum for the loan, and then what happens? They change the R value, so therefore, what do? Rip the whole heat pump out? Whereas you probably would have just put a big one at the start.
Yeah,
I got trapped like that.
We're actually getting our. We're doing double glazing throughout our house, and we're actually using the Hastings Council to help with that, just to keep our powder dry. And they do it at about 4%, I think, over about a term of about 5 years. So we're like, why not? No establishment fee or anything like that. Why not?
Do you have to, when you sell, if you sell within that 4 years, do you have to pay it off?
Yep. Yeah, I think you not only do you give an undertaking, but there may be some sort of mention of it on the. They sort of get their hands on the title and maybe put a line on your title as well, potentially. Yeah, but absolutely, they make you pay it back. Here are the different types of insulation. You gentlemen all know about this. Foil, that's not used anymore. Polyester segments, that's probably the most common. Wool segments, I don't really see much of that, to be honest.
We used to always have bats here.
Yeah,
You know, that was normal.
yeah.
But see many of those. And wool was quite common.
Just three features of this photograph. So we've got that's bats or polyester there, so it can be installed in ceilings and walls. I think we agree on that. It's not pumped into cavities. That's the loose fill stuff.
No,
No.
not that one.
And this one, Ron.
Yes, glass fibre.
And the last one.
Cavities by hand, yes, I've done
Nice
that.
one.
It's a
Sweet.
bit of a bugger on the ceiling too. It's sort of, you've got to wear a mask, haven't you? So the glass gets up you.
Yep. Not a
Don't
job
know
for the
about that, Neil,
faint.
won't you?
Not a job for the faint-hearted. Coating finishes for external cladding.
The other thing I did was put, it was on another house, I put polystyrene underneath the floorboards into the joists. That was Polar something it was called. That made quite a bit of difference to the...
X-Pol, was it, Ron?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, with the
We're
little
onto it. So there is
penguin.
something here. Put in the
They
complaint.
have, and they stayed out altogether.
Yeah, it's underfloor. And you need to do underfloor. It's part of it.
Yeah.
Do.
This stuff isn't actually mentioned in the exam. I won't dwell on it for too long, but it'll flash across the screen, so if you do want to take it in, you can. And I'll flip these cards around for you gentlemen to have a quick read of them. Once again, it doesn't come into it. What is the most predominant exterior coating used in NZ?
Silicon modified, I would say.
Well done. Types of paint: polyester, epoxy, aluminium. Don't know how to pronounce that last one.
Zinc-alume.
Zinc-alume.
Hmm.
Polyester, resistant to attack by chemicals. Epoxies, these may chalk as they are not as resistant to UV as polyesters. Aluminium is solvent based and filled with aluminium flake. Zinc-alume, relatively new protective coating for mild steel. However, it will corrode if it comes in direct contact with any materials that normally corrode zinc or aluminium. Applying finishes on aluminium or weatherboard. Wooden weatherboard should be treated and then painted or stained. This will ensure weather tightness. And they do weather slowly over time and should be checked to establish the degree of weathering. Bonding agents. However, these are galvanised steel or aluminium. These were coil coated to primer stage and then top coated. Acrylic, commonly used for both bonding coat and top coat. Chips, naturally occurring stone. When inspecting walls and cladding, it is important to understand the types of problems that might be identified, which are on the screen now. Mould growth, structures that are out of line, rotten timber, leaks, rot along the bottom of the timber, coating failure, bubbles forming, cracks in the mortar.
In the role of a property manager, if you're seeing examples of something like that, in the, like you say you're in Dunedin and 95% of the flats, you've got most of those. What are you really going to do? Just put it in your report? You're not a building inspector.
You're exactly right where you were going with that. You would note it in your report, Ron, and that comment would probably stay there, if you know what I mean. It drags through to the next report, and then the next report, and the next report.
Yeah, because it's not really the property. You pointed out, but it's not really the property manager's business. It's only the R rating, isn't it?
Yes.
Unless if it's got mould, it could be health, but that's about it, really, isn't it?
Some photographic examples. So yeah, you're right. If it's mould, you do want to step in and resolve that issue. But there could be an underlying issue on the exterior of the property that you won't be able to easily resolve.
I guess pointing it out in a report is handy for the owner anyway, the building owner. If the building owner doesn't live in the same town, it would be good to know if there's some form of degradation that might need attending to.
Absolutely.
But you're right, it probably never does get touched.
Yeah.
I'd rather have you doing it, Neil, than
Yes.
me doing it, because the property inspectors are, they're a hell of a lot more skilled than. I've seen a lot because I've just had to deal with them, but I haven't. A property inspector goes a lot further, quite more deeply than I'll ever do it.
But, yeah.
We've got to select two answers. So, what was that, Neil?
Mould on the foundation wall.
Yep.
And crack in the foundation wall.
Perfect. Right. This photo, two answers from the list that are possible defects in this post here. So I think the top one.
Yeah.
Split, yeah.
Oopsie daisy. Crack in foundation pole support. Righto. Oh, here we go. This looks like a ceiling in a bathroom, perhaps, or
Yeah, it looks
or a
like
wall. I'm sorry.
Oh,
We've got mould on the wall, which is alerting us to that there's a problem here, and watermarks as well.
yeah, bottom one.
Sweet. Oh, how many are we choosing? Sorry, two. Who would like a go?
The bottom one for sure.
Just go back up to the picture. Is it bubbling, crack?
Bubbling covering.
Nice one.
We've got an expert with us, Ryan.
Don't know about that. New Zealand's got a temperate climate. Generally high in humidity and UV light though. Influenced by our marine environment. High winds, earthquakes, it's all going on here. As Neil's recently experienced in his part of the world. Microclimates is what we've got sometimes. It means that the climates can vary within a short distance quite greatly. If water comes into contact with two different metals that are touching each other, one of the metals may start to corrode quickly. Bimetallic corrosion is the name given to that. The more dissimilar the metals are, the quicker the corrosion. Joinery and inspecting joinery. Some examples in the photos there. Common joinery problems: leaks, window frame joints, and corners due to thermal expansion throughout the seasons. Rot on the bottom corner of timber sashes due to trapped water. That's the sort of thing you'll see in your routine inspections sometimes. Signs of dampness around doors, windowsills, ceilings, and window styles. Be aware that some window styles are more susceptible to leaking than to others. Single glazing, perhaps. Here are the common window styles that are prone to leaking. Recessed into the wall. Corner windows, joined by silicon. Windows on sloping angles such as skylights. Did Neil drop out there, Ron?
Sorry?
I think Neil's dropped out.
Yeah, it must have dropped out, yeah.
Joinery refers to the components of the building, such as stairs, doors, and a door and window, and door and window frames. Window joinery, I think we've kind of been over these already. Dormers and awnings, bay windows, box window, bow window, lead light window. Yeah, we've been through these. Ranch sliders, French doors. Hey Neil. Timber joinery. You didn't miss much, Neil. Timber joinery is typical of New Zealand housing styles before the 70s. Typical indications of timber joinery in windows are use of putty, painted timber facing finish, a windowsill, timber windowsill. So this will be our putty. This will be our sill, and this will be the frame.
Facing.
Facing. Joinery, aluminium joinery, glazing rubber. They can perish when they get nailed in the sun. It's important to look at those on your routine inspections. They're reasonably cheap to send a glazier there to redo those. Metal flashings, condensation channel. They're all common features of aluminium joinery. Okay, scriber. I will try and look at that. This is. What was that? Sorry, Ron.
Hey?
Metal flashing.
Flashing. I didn't know it was scriber. Didn't even know that was.
Awning. Vision rail.
The channel.
Or the thermal brake, even. I don't know. The rubber. What about this? Condensation channel. It's hard to tell.
Doesn't look like it's in the right place for that.
No, it's been wrong. It's been wrong before.
Heat flashing. Scriber.
Metal flashing there, and
I've never heard of a scriber before.
this could be it. Flashing again, I think. No, it's condensation channel. Okay. This is aluminium window glazing, rubber. This is, in my opinion, that's the thermal brake, and this is one of the panes of glass inside. So then this must be your outside one. Yeah, you double glazed, and this is the rubber or the thermal brake. Yeah. Leaky buildings, I think we've sort of covered that, to be honest, gentlemen. It leads to health issues. Other defects from leaky homes can also include watermarks on the joists and water damage. Yep. Why did it happen? The various reasons are here. Inadequate administration of the building code. Linked to Consumer New Zealand. Weather tightness issues. So these are the things that you will be trying to point out in your routine inspections, because if there's early intervention, it can prevent more complex and more expensive repairs later on. So we will click this. Broken or missing tiles can create a problem. Not sure what this is pointing to. Mould. Something to do with the gutter. Maybe
leaves.
maybe a gutter that's come off its bracket or something. Yep, damaged gutters. Something to do with the facing. Mouldy, cracks in the joinery. Not sure what's happening over here. Yeah, blocked gutters, evident by vegetation growing out of them. Claims made. This isn't pertinent to the exam, so this could be an area that we just scroll through, and if you want to read it, you can sort of come back at a later stage. I think we know the answer to that. What type of cladding system is marketed as having a sealed, waterproof outer skin? Yeah. Marketed being the key word, I think.
It's marketed, that's right.
Right, so that, gentlemen, that's the conclusion of the theory stuff. What we were talking about earlier, Neil, was if I were to pass the host status through to you, do you think we could walk through your assessment?
Yep, okay.
Wonderful. I will attempt to make you the host now.
I'll just sit back in a sec.
No worries. So Neil, I've just passed that over to you, and I think it would be a case of screen sharing when you. Neil, what made you, I think it's great by the way, but what made you take up the course? Oh,
yeah, well, it's kind of like I wanted to start a business of my own. I didn't want to go out into architectural design on my own. You know, I wanted to do something that could be done at home, you know, working from home. So, you know, and I do own some rental properties, so I'm interested in any way. And yeah, I just thought I'd start a business doing this sort of thing as a property manager.
Perfect. It's good to get the course under your belt because this sort of course will be, or similar, will be required when regulation comes around.
That's where I'm heading as well. So getting ready for that.
It's good to get ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So it looks like there's 40 odd questions in a rough, but they're all, unlike some other assessments, they're all the multi-choice ones rather than writing the answers, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
So, yeah. Should we just call out the answer? Yeah, nice one. Post-war, I would have thought. Yep. Victorian. Yep.
Agree, everybody?
Yep. We'll find out.
Match the housing type.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
We have to say cottage again, unless we find a better candidate.
That's an English style. Well, we can always come back, right?
Yeah.
That's Art Deco.
Art Deco. Victorian. The bottom one is the English one, I believe.
Oh, yes, right.
Yeah. So yeah, good one. Change that back.
Cottage. English style. What types of housing style into the era? Okay, so now Edwardian. Made notes.
Good one.
Uh, 1905 to 1920. Californian bungalow. 1910 to 1940. Art Deco was 30s, wasn't it? Yeah, 20s to 40s.
Yeah, the Napier earthquake is how I remember.
Yeah, 1930. Yeah.
My grandfather's first day at school.
Right.
Cottages.
1910. 35. No.
I'm just checking. Cottages I've got the top one, pre-1890.
Right, yes,
Neil.
yes, true. The Victorian villas was 1916 to 1910.
Yep,
Ah.
good one.
Oh my God, what is that? You know this one, Ron.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Yep, gable. Oh,
I've
I've got them the other way round in my head. I must have them wrong. I would have said hip for that one and gable for the other one, but that's wrong, isn't it?
It's gable, that's
Yep,
hip.
perfect. Moni,
That's mono pitch.
mono.
Select 3 features of steel framing. It may shrink over time. No, it does not require chemical retreatment. It can be coated to limit corrosion.
And the next one down. Yep. Nice one.
Right.
Wood may warp and twist. Yes. Can absorb water. Yes.
Does require
Yep.
It does not require.
Oh,
possible risk to bore in older homes.
yeah, that's true too. Maybe
Yeah.
Does not. Oh, it does not require.
That ran away. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yep.
Which of the following is common foundation used for New Zealand?
Timber subfloor. Number 2. Number
Please describe the suitability.
4, please.
Flat sites. Concrete slab foundation. So flat sites. Flat sites. Yep.
Number
That one?
4. Yep.
Now, what is that?
Hmm.
Concrete slab.
What is that?
Strip flooring. Yep. Oh,
Is that?
pile foundations. Concrete.
Steel framing. What best describes the suitability of timber subfloor foundations suited for sites that are? Oh, that's a good one. Select one. Okay, suited for steep sites. That's more of a pole.
The bottom one.
Easy access to phone over the bottom.
That was what they. Yeah, that's what they quoted, wasn't it?
Yep.
What are the most common floor construction methods in New Zealand?
Concrete. Oh, and I would say, yeah, the next one down, I would have thought.
Select one. Select one. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
perfect.
that one. Photo is taken during a house inspection appraisal. From first, select 3 answers that describe the features in that photo. Or the type of flooring. It's not concrete flooring.
Not the second one.
It is
Yep.
flooring joined with nails and glue, tongue and
Yep.
groove, interlocking,
But then,
sanded and stained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
What 3 common indicators that suggest the building is leaking? Okay. Watermarks. Watermarks.
Yep. Mold.
Bricks. 3.
showing in flooring.
Marks showing moisture in flooring. Cracks in the. Yeah. That one. Okay. The photo shows the upper floor of a house and a building structure shown. Select possible defects. Well, that's leaky
Yeah.
pipes, I'd say. Water stains, no. Water damage, no. Water marks
Yes.
on flooring sitting on joists. Yep.
Sorry, with that one, do we just lock in one answer? Was it?
Uh,
Can't quite remember.
Select one. Select
sweet.
one.
Yep.
Photo of the framing exterior of the house. Foundation was taken while it was being renovated for sale. Select two answers from the list are the possible side effects of the building structure shown.
Rust.
Not rust. So rot,
Yep. Yes.
mold, moisture damage, and
I'd choose the mould one
yeah.
because you can see the mould there in the picture.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
It's just two, wasn't it? Yeah,
Yep.
two.
Uh,
Let's take in a section of flooring inspection. Select one answer from the list that is possible defect of that. Oh, Bora, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. What type of cladding is pictured here? Oh, we got brick.
Metal.
Oh,
Well, it's a roof cladding, so it's
cladding.
metal tile roof cladding.
Roof cladding. It's a metal
Profiled.
metal roof.
Oh,
What type of roof cladding is described below? This is long run roofing or short run in older homes. Can be various types such as corrugated, profiled metal roof. Yeah. Oh, what's that? Stucco, is it?
Yep. And then it's colour steel below it, it looks like.
What type
The
of
bottom one?
profiled metal? What type of cladding is being described below? Comes in a range of colours and textures. They are joined with mortar and have a lifespan of more than 100 years.
The top one, wouldn't it be? Or brick? Yeah.
Brick. According to Brand's guidelines, what can cause cracking in monolithic exteriors?
Top one.
Electrical, hot and cold temperatures, right? That's
Yep.
it. According to Brand's guidelines, what causes problems in the structure of weatherside cladding? Moisture. Which of the following building structures are more prone to letting water in through the roof? Weather types problems.
Top
Yeah.
one. Yep.
What are indicators that may suggest leakage in the roof?
The second one?
Yeah, let's know if they said that.
Yeah. And the third one, I would.
There's no gutters really, they're internal gutters, so they're.
Peeling paint on the fascia board. It's either the first or the third.
Well, it's not the last one.
May suggest leakage in the roof.
Must be missing section gutting.
Yeah. What type of window joinery is shown here?
Box
it's a
window.
box window, isn't it? Sash, dormer, bow, and no, it's a box
It's
window.
very square. That there is a dormer.
It is a dormer, yes. What type of window joinery is described here? They are decorative windows and are made up of small pieces of panes of glass. The form of a pattern. There we go.
Good luck.
What type of interior finish is highlighted here? Oh, okay. What's that one, guys?
Scotia. Fourth.
Yep. What type of interior finish is highlighted here? It's the architrave.
Yep. Yep.
What type of interior is described below? This is the frame around the window or doorway. They create decorative appearance that make windows weathertight.
Architrave.
Yep. Oh, what's that? Oh, that's your favorite. What type of insulation is shown here?
The fourth one. Yep.
What type of insulation is described below? This type of insulation is non-flammable, made entirely from natural materials and is placed in a cavity by hand.
Wall.
Good. That's the right one.
Sweet. Let's see
Yeah,
how we
let's
how
see
we
how
went.
we've done.
The Brains Trust.
Come on, we can do it. It's thinking about it. Thinking about it.
There you go.
100%.
Well done, gentlemen.
How about that, eh?
Well done.
Didn't get one wrong. There's a couple there I thought might have been
Yeah, we
one
were-
way or the other.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't. I thought we might get one or two wrong. Tripped up on a couple.
Never done that before. You always get one or two wrong.
Yeah. Well, that was fun.
Cool.
Pretty straightforward for you guys,
Yeah.
as shown in the exam there.
There's a couple of things there I didn't know. I thought I did know stuff well. Is it just the terminology? I think there's a bit of different terminology as you go down the country.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah, that scriber is usually next to a window. It's for weatherboard. It's flat at the front, but it's actually shaped. It's cut to the shape of the weatherboard.
Oh, okay.
So
I know
it
what
fits
you mean.
in flush. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I would have recognised it from the picture. I know exactly what you mean. Like it's got a little Z pattern on one side.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually mucked around with those.
Yeah, they actually make them and pre-paint them. So, because in the old days, you used to rip it with a skilly, and that would rot over time because you're cutting wood in it and you're not treating it afterwards.
Yeah, that's right. It opened up the grain.
Yeah, so now you can buy them off the shelf, pre-made, and obviously you have to set your weatherboards out to that increment, but at least it's all primed and protected.
That photo was a bit of a have, I think. It would have been much easier to pick out Scriber if it was a side-on photo or something like that.
Yeah, well, it was straight onto the front, so
Yeah.
who would know?
I think I just remembered from last time. But yeah. Well, I might set off and find some dinner. And,
Yeah, that's it. I'm starving.
yeah.
Yeah, cool. You know,
Good
I
to
just
meet
got
you.
Up management's just arrived home, so.
Good to meet you, Neil, by the way.
Yeah, you too, Richard.
Good.
Ryan, sorry.
Good to see you, Ron, and I'll probably speak to you in the next day or two anyway.
Awesome. Okay, good to see
Yeah,
you.
right.
Good night, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye.
Cheerio.